Alright everybody, it is Iconic Tactics for you today, and today we are looking at Arsene Wenger's 4-4-2 from the Invincible season of 03-04. We're talking Henry, we're talking Bergkamp, we're talking Sol Campbell, Patrick Vieira. It's a beauty. Now what I'd like you to do is, first of all, smash a like on today's video. Let me know which other iconic tactic you would like me to cover or try and replicate in FM22. As I said in previous videos, I always try and keep it as close and as accurate as I possibly can to the original tactic without messing with it to suit the match engine. Today, like no other, we're going to show you the tactic. Links down below to the FM Scout where you can download it through Steam or through the direct download. Alright, let's get into Arsene Wenger's iconic tactic. Alright boys, so here we are. Arsenal 4-4-2. Now I have actually replicated with Arsenal. There's a little part, obviously the players aren't as good, but if Arsenal had a really good centre forward that could work that left channel, they're not far off in terms of the players and the suitability for the players. So, right, so if we think about Arsenal's tactic, it was a 4-4-2. Didn't rotate a great deal. He always tried to play this strong 11, so it was Lehmann in goal. Right back was Laurent. Two centre-halves, Kolo Touré, Sol Campbell. Left back, Ashley Cole. Sitting midfielders, you've got Gilberto Silva and Patrick Vieira. Ljungberg to the right, Pires to the left, and then Bergkamp and Henry up front. Now, how I've broken it down is Jens Lehmann in goal. We've got him as a sweeper keeper on support. He was very good. He replaced, I think this was actually his first season, he replaced David Seaman in the summer and actually gave them, I think, the opportunity to start a little bit higher up the pitch instead of sort of like what David Seaman would have been. He would have been close to 40, I think, by the time he was let go. So, sweeper keeper on support for Ramsdale. The right back, Laurent, we've just got him as a full-back support now because he's got Ljungberg in front and Ashley Cole did more of the overlapping. He would occasionally get forward Laurent, but he was just more of a bog-standard sort of like full-back. We've got the Kolo Touré role. We've got a ball-playing defender on defend with the player instruction of dribble more because Kolo Touré was quite good on the ball. He often stepped into sort of like the defensive midfield area at times. And I've also got Mark Titer. He was a little bit hustle-bustle. He was quite aggressive in the press. I didn't want to go stopper just because I didn't want him going out into these areas and sort of like getting caught out a little bit too much. So I thought just having him dribble more so he can dribble with it when he can, and also Mark Titer just to get that aggressive sort of like press when the ball goes into the strikers. Sol Campbell, Gabriel, we've got him just as a bog-standard central defender on defend. The left back, Ashley Cole, we've got a wing back support. Now for the two central midfielders, we're going with a little bit of a different one. I think a lot of people were expecting a bog-standard 4-4-2, but Vieira would often start deeper and he would have these brilliant late runs into the box. So that's what we're trying to replicate there with a Segundo Volante. And then we've just got Gilberto Silva on defend. Now what a defensive midfielder, sorry, on defend. Now what I didn't want is if I went with a half-back, he would get into here to make a back three. You didn't see a lot of that from Gilberto Silva. If we have a deep line playmaker, we're trying to push then that role to be a little bit of a playmaker. And wasn't quite the case for Gilberto Silva. He would often just patrol in front of the back four, cover the wide areas where the wingers have gone. He would get on the ball and play simple passes. I think a deep line playmaker would maybe encourage long sweeping balls, and that wasn't really Gilberto Silva. To the right, we've got the Freddie Ljungberg role. We've got tackle harder. We've got tackle harder actually on both sides with the inverted winger and the winger. Now, we've got Ljungberg just on support, and then we've got the other side, which have been Pires, an inverted winger, so he can come on his right foot. Not really well suited to Saka because he's left-footed, but because we're keeping it as close as we can, that is the Robert Pires on attack, combining with the left back Ashley Cole, who would obviously go around the outside, and then also combining with Henry, who would generally stick out to the left hand side. Ljungberg on the right hand side, not an out-and-out winger, There's maybe an argument you could maybe do a wide midfielder, but what I want to do is him just to keep a little bit of width, and then what we have seen is him with him being a winger, just getting a little bit further forward. He did score a lot of goals for the Ljungberg, often sort of like tap-ins with Henry getting to the byline, cutting balls across. Kind of wanted to make sure that the winger was getting in there, so we've got a winger just instead of a wide midfielder. Moving on to the front two, we've got Lacazette, the F9, false 9, the Bergkamp role, often drifts into these areas, drifts in at the right time. The match engine's picked up a few lovely little clips of him just dropping in, sucking a defender in and allowing that space for an on-rushing midfielder, or leaving Thierry Henry being one-on-one. So that's what we've tried to recreate, and it looks absolutely fantastic in the match engine. And then on the left, Martinelli as the Thierry Henry, advance forward, and with the instruction of stay wider. We really want him to work this left-hand channel. That's the idea. Okay, moving across to the team instructions. Positive mentality, and then attacking width fairly wide, passing to space, because we want to try and encourage that run of Henry. Not so much anyone else. Pires, Ljungberg often wanted the ball at the feet, but we're just trying to encourage that little knock into space for Henry to really get on and work that channel. Left overlap, because we want to encourage that Ashley Cole to get round as much as possible. We're playing out a defence with Kolo Toure. Sol Campbell was quite basic on the ball, but we want to encourage passing through the third, so we'll get the ball out to the full-backs as well. Shorter passing, higher tempo, work the ball into the box. I did have that off to start with, but then I thought there was a lot of crosses coming in, and we sort of like Bergkamp, who was a decent size, and obviously Thierry, not the greatest in the air, so I thought we'd try and get them intricate passes in, especially with Pires coming in. Freddie Ljungberg coming on that right-hand side, and then once again we may get a few crosses in from that left-hand side when Kieran Tierney, or should I say Ashley Cole, gets on that overlap on that left-hand side. And then everything else just left blank. In transition, they weren't much of a counter-pressing side. Remember, they have a front two of Bergkamp and Henry. In particular, Bergkamp wasn't great at sort of like harassing and pressing, and Thierry Henry as well. We wanted to save his energy for when we have the ball, so we've left that blank. In possession, obviously we're counting. They were so good, in particular Jens Lehmann. I've tried to recreate it that best I could. I haven't quite got it as much as I hoped, but I wanted to create that counter attack, ball over the top into that left channel for Thierry Henry to run onto, and then have a jinking run where he's blistering pace and he runs past 2 or 3 people. So that was the idea behind the counter-attack. In possession, we're asking the goalkeeper to distribute quickly. Obviously that matches in with the last one with the counter-attack. And I've left it blank. Jens Lehmann was pretty good with his feet, knocking balls into the channels, knocking the ball into, finding the feet of Henry, finding a channel for Henry to run into. So I've just left that open just so we can vary sort of like Lehmann's delivery. And then out of possession, we've just gone for a standard line. It was a bit of a mid-block. Obviously, once again, with Henry and Bergkamp up front, there wasn't much in terms of really high pressing and players that had the real desire to press. So we've got a standard line with a high line of engagement. We're quite good because of Lehmann, the pace of Campbell and Toure as well. So Arsenal would often just squeeze up and have quite a compact block in the middle of the pitch. Slightly more trigger press, but we've got get stuck in. I think with Gilberto Silva, Toure, Campbell, Vieira, we want to get stuck in, so we're getting stuck in, and obviously forced opposition wide, quite standard for a 4-4-2. Okay, so that is the tactic. Let's dive into the match engine and see how it looks. Okay, right, here we are. We're just going to look at the movement of Bergkamp, the Lacazette, the false 9. So what he's going to do is create a little bit of space for Henry, who's starting wider. Look, there is Martinelli. We're asking him to stay wide. A few passes go in, and then all of a sudden he just drops off, which just encourages the centre-half to come in. He plays with him, plays it off, and then what it's done is created this massive hole, and then Martinelli is on his bike, and then it's an easy pass, to be fair. Freddie Ljungberg, Odegaard just plays it through, and it's a decent finish. But that's the role of the Bergkamp, dropping off, sucking that defender in, leaving Henry 1v1 and that nice little hole to play a pass into. Right, next little one, just the front movement and also getting Freddie Ljungberg in. Now, Freddie Ljungberg, Pires would often get into this area here in the edge of the area, but Freddie Ljungberg would really try and attack the penalty area. So what we've got here is, once again, Bergkamp dropping in pretty much into the midfield to help out. Henry staying on that left flank with his pace, cutting in on his right foot, working it, that's Vieira, and obviously Gilberto Silva on the ball. And then a nice little combination between the front two. And look at then Odegaard, Ljungberg's run off the shoulder of the left back. He should have really shot. He squares it and Bergkamp misses. But once again, the movement, that's what we want, that Ljungberg late run into the penalty box in between sort of like the centre half and the right and the left back. Okay, and last little one from this game is just how we press. How we've pressed the ball in the middle, and it's a straight counter attack. Win the ball with Gilberto Silva straight into Bergkamp, who's in the middle of the midfield, loads of time and space, but he's come right off. The defenders come to press, and then he's left that space, and that's where Henry, look at the starting position. Because we've got that player instruction of stay wider, it does mean that he stays in sort of like, you could probably call the half space, and then it's a superb pass, and Henry is in down the left hand side, body's in the middle, and in the end he dribbles it out for a free kick, goal kick. Martinelli isn't Henry obviously, but the movements are there that we want to create with Henry really working that left-hand channel. Right, here we go. We're just going to see in the end, it's going to be a goal for Freddie Ljungberg on this right-hand side, getting into that penalty area, right into the penalty spot as well to finish off. So we'll just watch his movement. Obviously, the movement of the front two as well is always important. Look at, again, once again, any team that really doesn't have that half-back, that someone sitting in front of the back four is going to be dangerous. Remember as well, a lot of teams at this time played a 4-4-2, so there was always acres of room for Bergkamp to move into. It goes into Bergkamp. He's actually made a forward run, which is pretty good. Martinelli Henry working that left-hand channel. He's going to get on the end of it, and then look at the desire from Ljungberg to get right in. Loads of goals, no doubt, scored. A nice little cutback from Pires. And there is probably a well-worked Arsenal goal. We're combining the front two, Lacazette coming off, playing in Henry, working with them Pires, and then Freddie Ljungberg getting on the end of it to complete what would have been a quite common and very effective Arsenal move. Now, next one, what I like about this one is the play. I'm going to use this instruction a lot more than what I have been doing. I've only kind of ever used this stay wider instruction just to suit Henry, and it's working really well. I think because of the movement of the false nine, it just allows that so much more space for then that pace to really dart into. So just watch, he holds his space. Lacazette has gone right over to the right hand side. Now you would probably expect Martinelli to maybe be another 10 yards in there, and to have then the inverted winger coming into this position, but he just holds his width. Look at that. Now it opens up. Look at all the space between the two centre halves. Because Lacazette's gone to the ball, Martinelli's kept his width. It's created that huge gap in the middle of the pitch, and then the end of it, Martinelli gets on the end of it. And to be fair, that's a bit of an Henry finish. Absolutely smashes it in. But that player instruction, if you're not going to replicate the tactic, just have a little go with it with your advanced forward. I'm going to probably use it in my York City save, just to see if we can just get the front two combining a little bit better. Okay, our first goal. Now, I think it's important to understand as well, because of Henry used to always sort of like work the left channel and the half spaces with Pires, there was often a need for Bergkamp to try and get into the penalty area. So I don't want you to be put off by never using a false nine, because here we can see we can win the ball and he's in a really good attacking position, and Bergkamp's getting right in there for those tap-ins. So don't expect the false nine to not push into the penalty area and always hanging back. I think it's a really good combination between the two. And as I said, when the main advanced forward then goes out wide, don't worry, that F9 will get in there and score you tap-ins in, as if he's always going to lurk and free and roam around and not get in where a striker should be. Now, this is one that I'm really pleased about. This was the Lehmann. I wanted a long kick into the left channel. Now, it doesn't go to Henry, it actually goes to Pires, and he wins the first header. But the ball's gone into the channel, and then we're breaking. It's kind of what we've got, pretty much a 3v3 here involved in the play. Saka flicks it on. Henry's working the left channel, and there once again is Bergkamp, the false nine, working off the final shoulder. So once that Henry goes out wide, then Lacazette, the F9, will then go into that advanced forward position. Right, and here's another one from Freddie Ljungberg, just the desire to get in the box. Pires is working, we work it quite nice. It's a nice little Arsenal goal, couple of nice little passes, and once again, look at Odegaard, Freddie Ljungberg scoring. How many goals would have Freddie Ljungberg scored in around the penalty spot, the back stick? Loads of tap-ins, and there it is, a proper Freddie Ljungberg goal, but well worked down the left-hand side again. The movement of Pires, nice little play, interchange with Henry to then set up the Freddie Ljungberg. Quite a common Arsenal goal. Right, and the last little one is this goal just gets disallowed, but I just wanted to show you because it's the aggression of Laurent, the right back, getting in on Wilf Zaharia. There is Henry working that left channel, just what we wanted. And then we get a nice interchange. We've got Robert Pires coming inside, getting involved. Look at the movement of Ashley Cole as well, just to I suppose he's created to create the overlap, but also to give something for the Crystal Palace defenders to think about. It opens up really nicely. Freddie Ljungberg getting inside the penalty areas, which we want, and a really good finish. Once again, look at the striker. Once that left-hand side with Henry, goes out wide, your other striker gets in the middle, and it was offside by the most smallest of fractions, but a really well worked goal. And the key, what we wanted to see, Henry working that left hand channel, that's what we wanted from this. Dennis Bergkamp roaming around, but also getting in that penalty area. You've got a really solid foundation there with the volante and the defensive midfielder. Freddie Ljungberg's going to score you plenty of goals on that right-hand side, and then you've got the guile, the craft of Pires on that left-hand side as well. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I think this is a pretty good plug-in tactic. I think you'll get a lot of success out of this tactic, using it at any level. It's not completely gung-ho. You've got two nice cities in there. We're not asking too much. Even if you're a mid-table side or even a defensive side or a lower side in your division, I think you can maybe give this tactic a go. You'll be quite solid. You need that space, you need that left, you need that pace up front, you need that F9, you need a little bit of quality in there. If you get those positions right, you will be good to go with this iconic tactic. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Smash a like if you've got all the way through. We've not yet done it. Muchly appreciated, and we'll see you next week for the next iconic tactic. Cheers guys, take care, see you later.